Find something that makes you happy and do it. That's good advice, but not so easy to take if given. It's easy to see folks out there who have hobbies and passions and interests and desires that they have in life. And if you're a person who doesn't have any hobbies or passions, it may seem like life is kind of boring sometimes. And folks may attach to other things rather than hobbies, such as, say, being a parent, or maybe being an obsessive parent, or maybe their work becomes their hobby. Maybe their work becomes what brings them pleasure. And but ultimately, we all find something in life that we can attach to, adhere to, something that attracts us. And that's kind of what life's all about, in my opinion. It's about the experiences, that make us who we are. And it's easy to get wrapped up in all the bullshit and to forget that. It really is. Because it's one of the things that I know is the most important thing in my life. To not just be happy, but bring happiness to those around me. To realize that I can either dig my own hole until I can't get out of it, or build my mountain until I can sit on top and watch the sunrise. And I've been building my building. I've been building the foundation of my temple for many years. And at this point, the structure has started to take form to the point where I can see any small mistakes. I can pick out the things that aren't working in the structure of my life. And I can't deny them anymore. I can't lie, fool myself and say, oh, well, either, oh, it's not that bad, or maybe I'll deal with that when I'm older. When I'm older. So, to me, it's about not judging. It's the most important thing about human behavior that I've had to learn in my life. And one of the ones that I work on all the time. Because I realize that when I get judged, it's way more often inaccurate. But when it is accurate, it allows me to look inside and see maybe a fault within myself or something I need to work on. There's a big difference between picking at someone or, judging someone and telling someone how it is for the benefit of their life. In other words, if you see a friend of yours who's doing something you know is wrong and you call them out on it, that's not judging, that's trying to explain and assist, and it's a big difference. But everyone judges. I don't care who you are, I don't care how well you've worked on, your ability to see through color, to see through culture, religion, to see through male and female. There's still a different approach a man has when, say, runs into a woman than when he runs into a man, or when he runs into an older man versus a younger man. People are judged by their age, by their creed. People say, I'm not a racist, but then they run into some black guy in a dark alley and they instinctually freak out, and I guess that's programming. But even a person who knows better, in other words, we tend to judge people instantly without even realizing we're doing it. But that's different. That's something you can't get rid of. That's part of being a human. That's something that protects us. If you don't judge and assess the situation, with the guy walking down the street with a lead pipe in a dark alley, he might get beaten down. So, to a degree, judgment is important. When it becomes an issue is when we start judging people based on their behaviors and actions. When they're not harmful to anyone, but even when they are harmful to the person. So it's easy to point the finger at people if they're doing something that's harming others, and I think it's required to do so. If one person's income is being earned due to many other people's losses, then it's okay to pick at that person if he's taking from other people. That's not judging. That's calling things as they are. That's about equality. But at the same time, you can't just judge a person because they have money when another person may be so stupid that they lost their money. In other words, to a degree, it is a dog-eat-dog society. But then there's also the human consciousness and awareness, which allows us to help and assist one another. And when we judge other people as being, let's say, all Muslims are this, or all Christians are that, or, all politicians are this, we generalize. And it's one of the things that I've tried really hard in my life to get away from, and something I still do. It's easy to say all politicians are crooked, but I don't believe that in the least. Not at all. Not even slightly. Because that in the past I may have, but now that I realize that I've considered becoming a politician, and I would be willing to work through all the chaos and nonsense and hatred and whatnot, just to try to make a difference in my community, even though I know that that may be just, a pipe dream. The way the system's set up is rigged, I won't even get into the electorate colleges and delegates and all these things that make it really impossible for the individual to do anything, so it seems like we're trapped. So we tend to strike out at other people. And the same thing happens, let's say, not just when politicians corner us, but when a religion corners a group. Let's say you live in a town where it's mostly Christians, and you're being hated upon because you're not a Christian, or because maybe you're an atheist, or whatever it might be. Then you're being judged, and then it causes you to judge them. And then this person may go on the rest of their life just despising Christians because of the way that they were treated. That's an important factor to remember. Don't treat other people bad merely because they treat you bad. And it goes back to the old golden rule of treating people how you want to be treated. I think that there's a problem with that rule when they say treat others as if you would like to be treated. It seems like sometimes people treat others as they are treated, not how they would like to be treated. So if a person is judged, then they judge. And I'm getting rained on, so I'm going to move. It's getting cold and rainy and windy out here. Oh, I went to my son's school thing the other day. His little, it's the 50th anniversary or 75th of Dr. Seuss. So all the kids get hats, and we all sit down and read Seuss books, and they have green eggs and ham. All the kids eat green eggs and ham. Good times, good times. So, just try not to judge people. That's all I can say. That's my only message, really, to try to... I've never really been that much of a judgmental person, but whenever I find myself judging, I still slap myself. I say, dude, don't do that. Don't judge people. But I realize that there's a certain amount of protection that comes with that. It's a defense, and often judging, if you've met, if you've run into 100 people in ski masks and every one of them robbed you, then a guy walks into your store with a ski mask, you're going to judge him as being a thief, a robber. That's just, programming and how we're set up to think. Of course, I'd always think any guy coming in with a ski mask is a robber, but I try to think up examples quickly. Judging the stoner, or the smoker, or the vapor. Here I am vaping, and I even feel conscious about this. But this is like my tobacco now, because I quit smoking, and so vaping is my thing. But it's something I feel kind of guilty about still, because it's an addiction. So people judge smokers, people judge people who smoke marijuana. I grew up smoking cannabis and was always, harshed or hassled by the kids at school. Oh, stoner guy, It's something that I've grown to understand, I guess, that people are just people. Most people mean well. Most people aren't out to get you. Most people aren't doing what they do to hurt you. Most people are just trying to live their life happily. And we all wake up in the morning with the same old thoughts in our head about, what's life about, or what are the things I have to do today, and we forget that every other person wakes up and has their own thoughts, their own ideas. So I'll just leave it at that. I always want to make these little 5-minute videos to say, hey, this is what I got to say, but I guess it's all part of the rambling too, Anyway, take care, everybody.